Hello, we are back in the bindery and you are very welcome. I said when I did the tutorial on the long stitch binding that I'd do a separate one covering what you want to do if you do the crisscross version, which I've done with this sketchbook. So I'm here to just go over that bit briefly. We can have a look at the finished thing. But I thought while I'm here I'd show you what the long stitch binding and the crisscross one can look like in different formats. So we just did it we've done it so far with open spine like this, so nothing on it. But you can do either the long stitch or the crisscross through a spine. So this is the long stitch, and it's just done through a soft cover that is made out of book pages and napkins and stuff. But it can look really smart and elegant and simple, that one, the straight one. And you can also do it open spine but over tapes of waxed paper, so that's what this is. And here I've done a double crisscross, but we don't need to worry about that. And then this is my current junk journal that I'm working in at the moment, which, as you can see, has got a hard spine. It's quite a beast. But I put the signatures in with the French link stitch crisscross version of the long stitch, and I think it looks really nice. I was really pleased with it. I'll just show it to you open. So you can get all sorts of different effects, and it's particularly nice with this one to use a colour, to pick up a colour from the journal. So once you've learnt this, and the long stitch one, you can do all sorts of things with it, and I wanted to show you how versatile it is. Okay, so we've got these 4 signatures prepped to make the second journal, and because I'm going to sew the long stitches over and through a piece of braid, as I have on this one, I'm just having a look at the distance between these 2 holes, because that's where the thread will be out and over the braid. So I've got this bit of Indian sari embellishment, which I think will go nicely with this cover. So I'm going to cut 2 strips of it slightly narrower than that distance, so that it's easy to get in and out and over the braid when I can. So it'd be quite nice to have this decorative bit. So I'll just trim off that edge. And then just eyeball. There are my 2 holes. So this wants to be cut about there. And I'll cut another one for the other long stitch to go over. I repeat, this isn't necessary. The structure holds together and looks really good without it. But it's a way you can vary it and play about with it and change the feel of the end product. So if we just check, that's going to sit nicely there between those 2 holes and the sewing going over it. So my signatures are stacked, ready to go. So I flip them and we do exactly the same as we did last time, only we're just going to go over the braid. So we start at the outside, leave a nice long tail for tying off, back out, and simply hold the braid in position roughly where we want it. Now you'll have plenty of chance to fine tune its positioning, so just you know, don't worry about it being totally precise here. And we simply make our long stitch over it, so it's held like that. Come back outside, put our next bit of braid on, ensure our thread is going over it as we go back inside. Now this bit's fiddly until you get your stitches down to sort of anchor it, but you can already see it adds another feature, and that they're roughly held in place at this stage. So we come out, bone down the signature, and then reach for sig number 2. It's easiest at this stage if you just kind of fold them out of your way while you get the next one on. Let's take those off. So this first one, as before, we just hop up from this signature into the next one. And then back out again for our next stitch over the ribbon. Let's pull it tightish for now. Flip your ribbon back. Now you could just go straight in as we did before, and that would give you the straight stitch over the ribbon. But if you want the crisscross, just take your needle, loop it underneath the first long stitch, use all 17 of your hands, but we just use that second one to pull against the first long stitch and make the cross. So either straight or just tuck behind the first stitch, come up, and then back into the middle of the signature. The tapes, the braid tapes, tend to get caught here, and it's a bit fiddly but not difficult. So you can see you've got your crisscross, and you can sort of fiddle about with it to get it where you want it. And that's it. It's such a nice look for so little extra sort of stress, as it were. So let's do the second one. Back outside from the middle. Flap your braid down, and then take your needle underneath and behind your first stitch, so it's making the cross, and then back in. And then come out again, as usual, at the bottom of the signature to do the tying off. So you can see that's what we've made. And you can see also why you need an even number of signatures if you're going to do the crisscross, just so that you've got the pairs to loop over each other. So as before, we're going to want to check that we've got this nice and tight. And it's slightly more confusing because of the crisscross, but pull your threads as taut as you want them. Just check nothing weird's gone on inside. I think this is the fiddliest bit, trying to get this as tight as you want it. Well, that was super annoying. Apparently my phone isn't designed to hold a video which is threatening to become as long as the Titanic. So it cut out just at the point where I was tying that off. So we'll pick up there, get rid of the binding clips from the one that's done, and sew our next signature in. So again, we are taking our thread over the braid, because of course we don't do the crisscross on the first one, we do it on the way back because there's nothing to crisscross it over. So before we do the kettle stitch, joining the signature onto that one, pull it tight as usual. Then kettle in underneath the stepping up stitch before, behind it, and pull through. Try not to get it caught on the end of the signature. And then the final signature goes on. So we go so we can see the little chain stitchy link thing starting to form. So we'll pull that quite tight, and then because we're doing the crossover, we go underneath the long stitch from the previous signature. And we can see we formed that cross. Just fiddle it down to where you want it to be. And do the same for the second one. under the last long stitch. You can see the cross forming, so you know you've done it right. And we're coming out at the end again to connect this signature to the one before at this end, and then tie it off. Just switched it around because it's easier to work right-handed. So as before, you remember we do kettle stitch as normal, and then go back into the middle of that signature where we check for tautness. And pass our needle under the stitch inside and then back through the loop that we've made. And there we go. So you can see it's not so tight that you can't adjust these to get them in the middle. And I actually quite like the look of that just left flapping. So the procedure for turning the text block into this is simply that you finish off sewing, as I described in the last video. You take whatever your cover piece is, let's pretend it's this, and you just glue your cover piece onto the first signature and the back signature. And then if you want, you can leave the tapes free like that, or you can glue them down. As you can see, I've chosen to glue them down here. And that's it. That's your French link binding. At last, actually, the French link binding this time. And I hope that's been helpful, and let me know how you get on if you make one. Okay, thanks so much. Bye for now.